The Pope was a disgrace to Jesus, God, all true Christians, and any other religious or non-religious people in the world. He's in hell right now because he promoted the use of animal-based foods.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man.
Last night, I was scrolling on YouTube when I got recommended a video from That Vegan Teacher, and it's probably the most insane YouTube title and thumbnail I have ever seen. Like, if anyone's ever made an eye-catching thumbnail, it is this one right here. The video is titled, "Thank God He's Gone," with a thumbnail that says, "Why the Pope is in Hell." I thought we got rid of this woman. I thought she was left in like 2021 or whenever she was popular on TikTok.
Somebody who isn't vegan consumes approximately 100 animals per year. The Pope died when he was 88. How many deaths is he responsible for?
To answer your question, around 1,400 animals. Pope Francis is from Argentina, and he lived in Argentina pretty much up until he was elected Pope, so like 76 years there. And in Argentina, around 17 animals are consumed per person per year. So let's say the Pope ate 17 animals every year since he was born. That would be 1,292 animals. But he did live in Vatican City for like 12 years as the Pope, and Vatican City is technically in Italy, and the number I found of animals eaten per person per year in Italy is 9.8. So let's just say as soon as he moved there, he starts eating the same amount of food an average Italian would eat. That would all then add up to 1,409 animals. So she mentioned it was 100 animals per year, which is, that's insane. So this number of 1,409 is probably a lot less than what she was thinking.
The Pope was a disgrace to Jesus, God, all true Christians, and any other religious or non-religious people in the world. He's in hell right now because he promoted the use of animal-based foods.
She's crazy. This woman is crazy. First of all, definitely not in hell. I think that's something we all could agree on. Second of all, did you take your meds today, or are those not vegan?
During many official meals and religious feasts, animal products were savagely consumed or promoted by this disgraceful Pope. The Catholic Church has a long-standing tradition of using meat, dairy, and eggs in its ceremonies and celebrations, none of which Pope Francis challenged.
Savagely consumed is an interesting use of words. Like, when I hear the word savagely, I just imagine the Pope at a table eating like a chicken leg the same way a grizzly bear would kill and eat a moose. You know, all savagely like.
The Pope was a terrible example of manhood. Good men protect animals. They don't pay people to kidnap, torture, enslave, and commodify them for a 5-minute meal.
Well, when you put it that way, geez. I get what she's saying is true, and all this bad stuff does happen to animals, but there's just something about hearing it come out of her mouth. It just makes me want to eat more meat. And if the Pope is in hell because he ate some animals, then goddamn, I'm going to be in the deepest part of hell.
He should have spoken out against places like SeaWorld and circuses and zoos.
SeaWorld? Where the hell did that come from? Is there even a SeaWorld where he lived? Did he even know what a SeaWorld was?
The students and staff here at That Vegan Teachers School are not woke. However, we acknowledge that the Pope, having been consistently a man over these years, is no longer okay. The next Pope should be a vegan woman.
Oh my God.
Ah yes, the Pope being a vegan woman will really make a difference. You got the right ideas, vegan teacher. I mean, I looked it up, and there is no set rule that says a woman can't become the Pope. It's just that if you look at its history and how the Pope gets selected, I don't think it's happening anytime soon.
The Pope is a cowardly man who refused to do the right thing, despite having a lot of power to do so. He could have easily encouraged the entire world to strive towards being as vegan as possible, and led by example. But this is not what he did. Instead, he endorsed animal sacrifice symbolism.
I don't think he could have easily encouraged the world to go vegan. I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. Even if he did try to do that, I'm just being honest, I don't really think much would change. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not really knowledgeable about this stuff, but doesn't God kind of like encourage you to eat meat? Like Ashley said before in the video, isn't it like a tradition to include animal products? So then, if it's a tradition, why in the world would the Pope be vegan and also encourage the entire world to go vegan?
The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has clearly stated that being vegan is helpful for all stages of development, including brand new babies, teenagers, adults, older people, pregnant women, and nursing women. It is also extremely inexpensive and would help to end so much poverty in this world. So many people, animals, and the planet overall would benefit. So why did he fail to do it? Because he's a coward.
Oh, I'm sorry, what? I wasn't really paying attention. I was too busy beating my meat.
The Pope should have been braver, but instead, he is in hell right now because he refused to use the power that he had for good in this world. He failed to advocate for veganism, for the innocent victims desperately suffering in an animal holocaust right now, when it would have been a win for everyone. The animals, the planet, and all of humanity.
Even though she's disrespected the Pope probably like 300 times since this video started, I still find it crazy every time she does it. And if he's in hell because he did something you don't like, what does that mean for you? No one likes you, and you're doing something a lot of people don't like. So does that mean you're going to hell, or do you think you're scot-free because you haven't killed an animal since 2016? Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Despite his strong ecological encyclical Laudato Si, which criticized the human abuse of nature, the Pope never publicly endorsed veganism or called for reducing meat consumption on ethical grounds. His focus was more on sustainability and stewardship, often avoiding the moral discussion around animal rights, which was an imperative discussion to have.
There is no way that she wrote the script for this video. Like, she's throwing in these big, smart-sounding words that I guarantee she doesn't even know what they mean. Also, she released this video the same exact day the Pope died, so I refuse to believe that she was up all day learning about the Pope just to shit on him. Because she's clearly not Catholic, so she didn't just know this information beforehand. Or maybe she did. I have no fucking clue. I literally have no idea what I'm talking about.
Not only did the Pope fail to address all of the sexual abuse that goes on within the Catholic Church, he also never spoke out against what's happening to females right now. Female cows.
Oh, she's talking about cows. I thought she was talking like actual females. I thought we were gonna start shifting into like a more intense topic.
Are forcibly tied up and impregnated against their will without consent. Their babies are stolen from them and murdered. Because if they are boys, they are considered to be useless because they will never grow up to be able to produce milk. The dairy industry is a cycle of misery, and the Pope should have spoken out against it and told people to drink plant-based milks from now on. But that's not what he did.
Now, the one thing I will agree with her on is that I do think there should be a more humane way to get dairy from animals. I mean, I'm lactose intolerant, so I really don't care if all dairy products did get banned because of harming animals. But I do think there should be a much better way of like acquiring milk. But then again, I have no actual idea if doing this in a more humane way is even possible. I'm sure it is. I'm just pretty sure most of these companies are just too lazy to just figure something out.
The Pope is in hell right now because he was cruel to cows. He wore leather shoes, and other leather things, which was unacceptable. The Pope wearing leather is wrong because it directly supports the cruel exploitation of cows and other animals in the leather industry. Leather is not just a byproduct of the meat industry as many believe. It is a co-product, meaning animals are specifically raised and killed, not just for their flesh, but also for their skin.
If the Pope was in hell because he wore leather, then see ya. On my way to hell. I'm honestly not even listening to the message that she's trying to say about these animals, only because these are all things that like most people know already. Especially with being on social media, I feel like everyone's talked about this already. I'm just more curious on how it's the Pope's fault.
By choosing plant-based or synthetic alternatives, the Pope could have set a powerful example of mercy and kindness, aligning his actions with the principles of caring for God's creation. Supporting ethical and cruelty-free choices is not just a personal decision, it's a moral one that resonates with the broader call to protect all beings from harm.
I feel like it's definitely more of a personal decision. Like how my personal decision is to enjoy a pork chop every once in a while. That's my personal decision. And it's your personal decision if you want to save animals. And if saving animals is your personal decision, then kudos to you. You are doing a whole lot more for this world than most people.
The Pope was offered $1 million to stop abusing animals. He refused it. Meanwhile, young children everywhere are choosing veganism out of the goodness of their heart, with zero compensation.
Time to change your religion like you change your underwear. Change your religion, show God that you're...
Now, when you say young children are choosing veganism, how young are we talking? Because if you're talking about like literal 8-year-olds and other kids around that same age, no shit they would go vegan if they feel bad for the animals. You know how easy it is to convince kids anything? I mean, it's not convincing. The animals are getting hurt, but you know how easy it is to like persuade them into doing something? But how many of those kids do you think are going to actually stick to that diet as they grow older? Also, where the fuck is my $1 million to go vegan? I mean, shit, give me $500,000 right now, go blow up a slaughterhouse.
The Pope is in hell right now because he was offered $1 million to become vegan and he refused it.
I was wondering why he was in hell the entire time. Now I know why. This makes complete sense. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It was deeply disappointing that Pope Francis declined the $1 million vegan campaign's offer to go vegan for Lent in exchange for a $1 million donation to a charity of his choice. This decision was problematic for several reasons. Number one, he missed an opportunity to align his actions with his teachings. Number two, he neglected the suffering of the animals. Number three, he undermined the efforts to combat world hunger. Because animal agriculture is an inefficient system that consumes vast resources, contributing to global hunger. For instance, feeding crops to animals instead of directly to humans is wasteful and exacerbates food scarcity. By promoting a plant-based diet, the Pope could have highlighted a more sustainable and equitable approach to feeding the world's population. So not only did the Pope not give a shit about suffering animals, he also didn't give a shit about suffering children.
Didn't give a shit about suffering children is wild, first of all. Also, I guarantee if you offered him $1 million to help out some starving kids, I'm sure that outcome would have been much, much better than offering for him to go vegan. And if you want to talk about people that don't give a shit about being vegan, it's literally every single person that is not vegan. The reason people aren't vegan isn't because it's too expensive, it's because they literally don't give a shit.
Number four is he failed to inspire global change. As the leader of over 1 billion Catholics worldwide, Pope Francis held significant influence. His participation in the campaign could have inspired millions to consider the ethical, environmental, and health benefits of a vegan lifestyle, fostering a global movement towards more compassion and sustainable living. But he didn't give a shit. But you do. So be better than the Pope. Like, subscribe, and press the notification bell to assure your place in heaven and not in hell.
Like and subscribe to ensure your place in heaven and not hell is a crazy quote. I should start saying that line at the end of my videos. Does that actually work? Oh wait, no, it doesn't. It doesn't work because this video has 2,000 dislikes and barely any likes. Guys, like and subscribe so you don't get locked in my basement.